day 48 of the travel vlog. So today I'm going to talk about stress. Why stress? Stress hits us all in many ways, and it's a big thing with success or being unsuccessful. In many ways it hits us. I've gone on to ChatGPT and I've got some keys on my screen, so I'll be looking at that as well to assess what I'm talking about. See if it makes sense for you. Now, Debbie and I are looking to get a less stressful life, should we say. And one of the reasons we want a less stressful life is because of what stress does to people. So what does stress do to people? Well, it can make you very ill, can't it? It can make you very ill indeed. It comes out in your body, it comes out in rashes, it comes out in sickness, and it comes out in mental issues as well. A lot of arguments with couples are all about stress. So what is stress? So just looking at my screen now, the definition of stress. Stress is the body's response to any demand or challenge, whether physical, mental or emotional. So stress can actually be a good thing if you know how to handle stress. Now, I personally believe, how true that is, I don't know how true it is, that stress can be controlled. It's my personal opinion. We all get stressed, and we seem to get more and more stressed if we let our emotions get involved, which is very difficult not to have our emotions involved. So the way I control it is logically. How can I? So it goes back to mindset, doesn't it, again, which we talked about on another video. Mindset is so important. So analysing why you're stressed. The amount of people, in my opinion, that literally are stressed and don't recognise it, are stressed because of circumstances, are stressed because of other people and what they put on them. Or it might be because you're trying to keep up with people, or it might be that work is too much for you. So stress is quite a massive subject, isn't it? So it's saying here there's types of stress. There's acute stress, which is short term and often manageable. So acute stress is when something attacks you, I think. It's when something hits you right in the eye, and you have to deal with it there and then. So as a rule, you can manage that, and that's what I think we're talking about with the looking at it logically. Chronic stress is long-lasting and harmful if not addressed. So what does that mean? In my opinion, it's that you haven't faced what's stressing you. What are the challenges? You haven't asked that question. Why am I stressed? What is stressing me? And then there's eustress, which is EUSTRESS. And that's positive stress that can motivate and enhance performance. See, stress can be a motivation. It can push you. It can get you to where you want to go, if you allow that stress to be a positive thing in your life. Now, I've always talked about freedom lifestyle. And freedom lifestyle comes with its stresses. So if you can't handle stress, I think you'll have a challenge with a freedom lifestyle. What is a freedom lifestyle? To me, a freedom lifestyle is doing what I want, when I want, and going where I want, when I want to go there. I don't have to ask a boss if I can go on holiday. So I don't have the stresses of that. I don't have to get up in the morning at a certain time. So I don't have the stresses of that. I don't have to finish work at a certain time. So I don't have the stresses of that. Stress comes in many forms, and you can put yourself in a lifestyle which gets rid of a lot of those forms. So I wonder what stress is to you. Is it the daily grind, the 9 to 5? Is it a boss you don't like? Is it targets that are just crazy? I mean, we've all worked for a boss where you think you've got everything under control, and then all of a sudden more pressure is being put on you because they've got to hit their targets. Is that the kind of stress that's affecting you? Is it money stress? Money stress is one of the biggest things for marriage breakups and couples, sadly. And I think it's one of the biggest things that hits mental health. So these are big subjects, and they're massive things. So stress is something that you need to look at. So I'd advise you to take 5 minutes of your time and analyse the stress that you're in today. Now, Debbie and I are going on a long trip shortly, and we're moving out of our property, and we're still running our businesses, we're still trading, we're still trying to do lots of things. So there's a lot of stresses that we've put on ourselves. Now, did we need to put those stresses on us? Well, we didn't need to, but if we want to get where we want to go, we need to go through this stress thing. And as long as you've got it planned, as long as you've got your logical mind on instead of your emotional head on, you can work through it. How can I again? Mindset. So there's only so many hours in a day. Leverage is important. So how do you leverage your day? What do you do? Are you doing everything? No wonder you're stressed, if you are. Can you ask for help? I mean, I had a friend round over the weekend. She's a very successful lady in her own right. High-powered job. Works for a big corporation worldwide. And one of the things she said over the weekend, which is so true, is when you want something done, always give it to a busy person, because a busy person will always get it done. Now, isn't that strange? That's more stress on someone who's already stressed. So that's someone who can control stress and knows how to work with stress. Maybe if stress is getting to you, it's time to sit back and analyse your stress and look at it logically. Why am I stressed? Who's putting that stress on me? Is there something I can do about it? Is there something I need to learn? Do I need to grow as a person so I don't become as stressful as I am? Maybe it's anxiety that creates stress. Now, Debbie and I like to travel. We like to travel a lot. Now, we don't speak any other languages, but we have bought a device that translates. So we speak into it, and it comes out in their language, and it speaks to them. And then they can press a button and speak into it, and it comes back in our language. So we've overcome certain stresses by getting a product that actually resolves that stress. Now, we prefer slow travel. And the reason we prefer slow travel is because it's not as stressful. I mean, excuse me, my nose is itching. It's hay fever. Slow travel's better for us. We've done the hotel to hotel stuff. when we've gone travelling. So we keep moving, and that is such a pain. Very stressful. There's nowhere to wash your clothes. If you do get the hotel to do it, it costs a fortune. And you've got nowhere. If you just want to sit and rest, there's always people around apart from your room. So we prefer apartments and villas, and we prefer slow travel. And the reason we prefer slow travel is because there's not as much stress. You can take a day or two to get comfortable in your apartment or villa, and you can have a look round at the area. You can take your time to check it out. You can take your time to check out the cafes, the restaurants, the walks, etc. So we prefer to go for long periods of time rather than lots of small holidays, because we find that less stressful. So isn't it amazing the things you can do to stop stress, or at least help you along the way with stress? And it always makes me wonder how easily people blow up. And it's not that they're angry, it's usually because they're frustrated. And they're usually frustrated because they're overstressed. They can't think their way out. So let's have a look at the common causes. So the common causes include work pressure, financial problems, relationship issues, health concerns, and major life changes, which we've touched on. The physical symptoms are headaches, fatigue, muscle tension, digestive issues, and sleep disturbances. Emotional symptoms are anxiety, irritability, depression, mood swings, and feeling overwhelmed. Behavioural changes: overeating or undereating. I'm an overeater, as you can tell. Especially when I get stressed, I just pick. It's crazy. Some people pace around and can't eat because of stress, so they undereat. Obviously, some people use substance abuse, social withdrawal, so people go within themselves. These are sort of things to keep an eye out on friends and that. Social withdrawal. And procrastination is a big one. Procrastination is a massive one, and that's something that I need to touch on its own, because we're all into procrastination in one form or another. And it's not because you don't want to do it. I think it's because the outcome isn't good enough. It's not a big enough prize at the end of the job. So by cleaning the house, you put it off because you can live with it. It's not that big an issue. But if your mindset is different and you become really stressed that it's dirty, guess what? You'll have a very clean house. So what they're saying, because of the impact on health, chronic stress can contribute to heart disease. Now, I don't know about you, I'm at an age now where I want to live longer. High blood pressure, diabetes, and a weakened immune system. So coping strategies it's got here is exercise, meditation, deep breathing, time management, and seeking social support. Now, exercise. Not all of us want to go to the gym every day, but a good walk is quite nice. We went on a walk today with a pub lunch, to be fair, and it was lovely. Meditation and deep breathing. Well, I think that doesn't have to be meditation or deep breathing as people talk about in the mainstream. It might be just taking time to sit back and have a think. Think about your life. How many times a day do you do that? How many times a week do you do that? And how many times a year do you do that? Most people don't. They're just too busy getting on with their lives. No wonder it's stressful. And seeking social support. Well, what is that? Seeking social support. I'm stressed. How do I seek social support? Maybe it's just having a chat with a mate. Maybe it's texting someone. Maybe it's listening to someone like me. I don't know. Now, there's professional help out there, therapists, counsellors, doctors, who can all help manage this. But I don't think that's required if you nip it in the bud. Because if you look at stress and you say, why am I stressed? And you hit that and you're honest with yourself, like most things in life, you can answer it. You don't need some clever clogs to answer it for you. You can answer it. Now, if you can't do that, then you need some clever clogs to answer it for you. So what's that got to do? What's all this got to do with freedom lifestyle? Well, it's all mixed in, because a freedom lifestyle is a way of thinking. It's a way of coping, and you have to have a logical mind for that. Because if you're just emotionally led, there's a good chance you won't last. I know someone who suffers from anxiety badly, and she cannot go travelling without having a panic attack. I mean, that is pretty tough for anyone. And anybody who doesn't have that would never understand that. So stress is something you need to look at, something that you need to definitely sit and think about. Maybe for 5 minutes a day. Maybe that's better than a meditation. Maybe it's better than your yoga. Maybe it's better than going to the gym. Maybe that it's better than sitting in a pub and drinking your way into oblivion because you're stressed. Why not take 5 minutes? Just 5 minutes a day. And ask yourself, am I stressed? Why am I stressed? I think it would be a good 5 minutes spent every day, wouldn't it? I mean, one of the things I love about, changing the subject totally, the Bible, is one of the prophets turns around, one of the disciples, not prophets, turns around to Jesus. And he says, you've asked us to travel far and wide in areas where they won't like us because we're Jews. They won't want to listen to us. And you've asked us to invite ourselves into their homes and talk about the Word of God. What should we do if they don't? Because that was quite stressful for him. That question was very stressful. And I loved the answer. And Jesus turned around and he said, if they don't accept you, if people don't like you, obviously I'm ad-libbing here, if you're not welcome, as you leave, brush the dust off your feet and never return. So what does that mean? To me, that means if people don't like you, well, go and find people that do. And don't worry about the people who don't like you, just leave. And take all that stress away. Just move away from it. Just get on with it. If it's a money stress, then you've got to learn how to make more money or how to reduce your expenses. If it's travel anxiety, then you've got to face why. It's all questions, why? I mean, if you'd like to have a chat, drop something in the comment and we'll have a chat.